This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states or situations.
Whether you're picking and grinning or just grinning, grab a drink, pull up a seat. It's time for Roots Music Rambler. Turn it up. This is what I got everybody in my family for Christmas. They're not getting anything else. They are going to be walking billboards for Appalachian Echoes.
There you go.
That's a good way to start the show.
Yeah, heck
Consider the show started. Hi.
Hey, what's happening?
So what are your New Year's plans? What do you got cooking here in the next
New
few
Year's?
days? Yeah, New Year's.
Nothing.
You're not going out to, hobnob and drink and Nathan Graham and this, that, and the other?
Yeah, no, not yet. I mean,
Okay.
if somebody local announces something, maybe, but we don't really like to go out on New Year's Eve. I've always said it's amateur night.
Yeah.
And then anything that we would want to do, we would need to drive.
Yeah.
And it is not the night to be driving, and Ubers and taxis are either impossible to find or ridiculously expensive. So we just usually stay home.
Yeah.
And it's fine by me, and we're asleep before midnight.
There you go.
Yeah. So honestly, I see the same sort of thing happening this year.
That's middle age for you. I'm there too.
Right.
I won't be going out. The WFPK is the public station here in town is actually having a nice little 20th anniversary show for Matt Anthony, one of the show hosts, and they're doing a thing in the lobby of the Palace, which is the big nice theater, a couple of doors down from the radio station. And I may make an appearance there, but it'll be very early in the evening, and I won't be staying out late. I do have a funny story though about New Year's Eve.
Okay.
I think it's a funny story. So this is 1993, I think, and I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, and down there they have a peach drop, as you might expect, instead of the apple, right? So they have a peach drop in the downtown area of Atlanta, and it's just like Times Square, only it's in Atlanta, so it's a little warmer. But I'm there with the Morehead State University women's basketball team. So we were playing maybe Georgia State or Georgia Tech or something for some sort of tournament. And so we were Georgia Southern. That's where we were, Georgia Southern, but we went to Atlanta for New Year's Eve before we came home or before we went to the tournament, one of the two. So anyway, those details don't matter. Nobody gives a shit. Anyway, so I'm with the women's basketball team at Morehead State. And mind you, in 1993, I would have been a sophomore in college at Morehead State. I was a student assistant in the sports information department, which is the place that kept the stats and did the media guides and publicity for the sports teams. So I'm on this trip to basically keep the scorebook and the stats and whatnot for the basketball team. So it's me and 27 women in downtown Atlanta for the peach drop on New Year's. And so we're standing there, we're watching the peach drop, and they're counting down the 10, 9, 8, 7 thing. And somebody, I don't know who it was, said, who you gonna kiss? Who you gonna kiss? And they certainly they weren't talking to me, because none of them liked to give me the time of day because I was the stat geek dude, and nobody wanted to talk to me. So the senior all-star, all-conference center on the basketball team that year was a gal named Bev Smith, and Bev Smith was a hell of a basketball player. She was also the kind of woman that if you pissed her off, you were afraid she would break you in half. She brought it. Like, she was big, strong, and whatnot. So we get down to 3, 2, 1, and Bev Smith grabs me and kisses me as the peach drops in Atlanta. And of course, the whole team's seeing this and they're just guffawing and laughing and pointing. Caught me completely by surprise. She had a boyfriend and whatnot. She just did be
Oh,
goofy.
geez.
But it was the first time I'd ever been kissed on New Year's Eve, and probably the last time I've ever been kissed on New Year's Eve. But yeah, that's my funny New Year's Eve stories. Bev Smith, wherever she is, I don't know what she's doing these days, but she was a good friend and fun, and that was interesting. So
Wow, Jason, look at that, finding yourself in positions and situations where you're the only dude with, a whole gaggle of women.
that's weird.
Hey, you said that in Atlanta there's a peach drop.
Yep.
Right? You know what we have here in Chicago?
Icicles. I don't
We
know.
got an Italian beef drop.
Oh, nice. I love it. Italian beef. That's good.
We really don't.
You don't?
I just, it would be fitting though.
It would be-
Or
it
like
would be.
or a Chicago style hot dog or something.
Yeah, that would be fun. I'm sure there's other cities that have weird shit that drops, but
Oh, I
Yeah.
would bet on it.
anyway. So Louisville,
All right.
I don't think Louisville drops anything. If we do, it's another kind of ball or. Oh, you know what? Disco balls were invented in Louisville, Kentucky, and 90% of the world's disco balls come from Louisville, Kentucky, or some high percent. I don't know what the number is, but so we could do a disco ball. That'd be fun.
Well, there's a claim to fame.
And we may do it. I don't know. I've never been downtown Louisville for New Year's Eve either. So, and this year ain't going to cut it that way as well. So that's the way that works. Anyway, welcome to Roots Music Rambler. She's Frank.
And he's Falls.
And we're rambling on through the stories behind the music we love.
And since it's, Christmas weekend and we've got a bit of a special show for you this week, I guess you can consider it a little year-end holiday gift.
That's right, indeed. Since this is the last show of 2025, we thought we'd spend some time talking today about our favorite songs, artists, shows, and such for the year. But we also have a special treat in the way of a couple of guests for the final episode of 2025 as well.
So you probably recall our Thanksgiving week episode, which we probably called special at the time too. And that wasn't just because it was a holiday, but after many weeks and even months of fighting through schedules and record deals and delays and because of announcements, we finally had the Creekers on the show, or at least Tanner Horton from the Creekers, right? The viral bluegrass band of the summer. Well, for our holiday show this week, we've got 2 more Creekers for you. And I know Falls was tickled.
That's right. That's right. So if you follow me on the socials, you probably know that a few weeks back, it was actually Thanksgiving weekend, the weekend that the Tanner Horton episode came out. I went to see the Creekers with my pal, Oliver Sayani, who opened up for them at Zanzibar, which is a great little bar and music venue here in Louisville. And I'm standing in the lobby. I got there early because Zanzibar is a standing room only place. They've got a few seats and tables, but if you can't get them if you don't get there right as the doors open. So I get there early because I can't stand up for 2 hours at this age and in this shape. So I try to get there early so I can get someplace to sit down. So I'm standing by the door in the bar restaurant area of Zanzibar. And Alan Hacker, one of the lead singers, and the other with Tanner Horton and guitarist and songwriter for the Creekers, comes out to a couple of his friends were there, and he was taking them back to the green room. So he stops at the door and he looks at me and he says, "Are you by yourself?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Come on." So I go with Alan and his 2 friends back to the green room at Zanzibar, where all the guys are, and Anna's putting on her makeup, and Tim is back there. Tim Parks, their manager, is back there. And I'm just saying hi to people. I thought, "Oh, this is cool. I get to come back and say hi to everybody for the show. This is really neat." And then Tim Parks turns to me and says, and we have Tim to thank for all kinds of stuff, for hooking us up with various and sundry things, including the Tanner Horton interview. But Tim says, "Hey, Falls, you got your phone with you?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, Alan Hacker doesn't do very many interviews. Now would be a great time to get him." And I'm like, I turned and looked at Alan. I said, "You want to do an interview?" He's like, "Yeah." And I looked at Ashton Bowling, who was sitting there as well. I said, "You want to do it?" I said, "Yeah." And so I turned the camera on and interviewed Alan Hacker and Ashton bowling from the Creekers. So we got 2 more Creekers with it's a short interview because it's in the green room. It's, an hour before they're going on stage.
Yeah.
And I got to go get my seat because I'm not going to stand up just because I got this interview. So it's a real short interview, but it's actually really good because I asked them, hey, you guys are working on the new record, we feeling any pressure, all that kind of stuff. So good stuff. Additional Creeker exclusive interview from the green room at Zanzibar for you on our big year ender show today. So tickled to be able to bring that for you. I got, again, Ashton and Alan in the green room that night at Zanzibar. So fun stuff coming up on this episode.
And you've been high on them for a while now, so I know this was a big deal. And as Falls said, the interview is short, okay? So, like Jason said, they were getting ready to go on stage, so couldn't really get too in depth. But yeah, they are, like Jason likes to say, they are kind of getting ready to blow up. So talk about the last few months, signing a record deal, sold out every holiday show that they booked and so on. So it leaves us here on the show a little more time on the front end to talk about 2025 in music.
That's right. Now we've got we're not a big formal media. We're not a media outlet, and we don't have a big staff and researchers and all that jazz, but we love Americana music and we love the artists and have been doing this show for a couple years now, the podcast that is. And we've been following these artists in the Americana and alt country spaces for a long time. So we made a list of all the albums and artists and songs that bestowed upon our earballs in 2025, and we're going to kind of call out and highlight our favorites. There's no formal ranking, right?
There's no formula. There's no algorithm, right? So yeah, we're not doing anything official. It's not like awards. As Jason said, we'll pick our favorites. So it's not really like the best of 2025, because admittedly, and I think I said this on last year's year-end show, like my time is limited. So I'm usually listening to new music that is a couple of months old. So, but we're going to talk about as many as we can. In case you didn't do a deep dive into these folks, let this episode serve as a reminder for you to go back and check out what you may have missed.
Exactly. Yeah. And so we're going to cover 3 or 4 little categories here. We're going to talk about our favorite new artists of 2025. We'll talk about our favorite songs and our favorite albums. And I bet everybody can guess what mine is. And then our favorite events, like the most memorable concerts and whatnot we saw this year. So that's kind of what we're going to do here to celebrate 2025 and bid it adieu as we welcome 2026 in here in the next few days.
That's crazy.
On this episode. Yeah, it is kind of nuts, isn't it?
That is
2026.
At
one point in my life, I wasn't sure I would live to be 26 years old, and I've lived 26 years in this millennia or century or whatever the fuck we're in. One of those words.
I think it's a millennium.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's not try to do any more math or whatever, because it hurts. It hurts my brain. So, all right, let's start with the new artists. So, who did we discover in 2025 that maybe we didn't know before, and maybe our listeners didn't know?
Right. Well, we have to start with the obvious, the Creekers.
Right.
I'm pretty sure, if I had heard of them before 2025, it was at the very tail end of 2024 when Alan Hacker's father-in-law, Shane, started pestering me and saying, dude, you got to listen to these guys. Dave, you got to listen to these guys. And admittedly, I probably went 2 or 3 months, of him pestering me before I took time to sit down and listen to them. And so I was a little slow on the uptick, but fortunately I got in on kind of the front end before they really blew up.
Yeah.
But the Creekers definitely are one band that I know I discovered and we discovered in 2025. That's for sure. If we go back and think of some of the folks that we've had on the show, Ramona and the Holy Smokes. I mean, the album that is out now is their debut album. And they've actually been climbing the Americana charts with that thing, not just the alt country. We talked about the alt country charts when we interviewed Ramona, but they've actually appeared on the AMA charts in the last few weeks too. So that's another one. Bill Taylor and the Appalachian Heatrons, right?
Mm-hmm.
They exploded on America's Got Talent this summer, and we had Bill and Joe on the show as well. Cait Justice, my homegirl from Pikeville, Kentucky. We had her on the show. Her album Angel Teeth came out in February, maybe. So that's another one. Your boys at Del Roscoe.
Oh yeah.
We love talking to them.
Yes.
And that album is their first studio album, I believe. So there's a bunch more. I mean, Abby Hamilton is somebody I've been high on lately. She's from Lexington, Kentucky. We haven't talked about her a lot on the show, but I'm trying to get her on the show. She opened up for the local Honeys here in Louisville not too long ago. We have an episode. By the time this drops, we will have already published our episode, I believe, with Emily Jamerson.
Yes.
And so she emerged, at least in my field division, in 2025. She's been around for a little while. Nicholas Jamerson's younger sister. Who else do we have? Corduroy Brown. We had
Corduroy Brown. Yep.
Had Corduroy Brown on the show.
Yep.
What are some of yours? Who are some that you can think of that we saw this year?
Well, you mentioned Ramona and the Holy Smokes, so they're one of my new favorites of 2025, along with Del Roscoe. That was one of those situations where I got an email from their PR, and which, if you know how that stuff works, it's not unusual to get dozens of emails a day, right? And what drew me to the email from their PR was the subject, or the little bit of the blurb in the email that listed them as Gothic, indie, Americana. And I was like, okay, I'm
What's
intrigued.
this?
Yeah. So I read the email and then I listened to them and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
How have we not known about them before? So definitely one of my favorites. And the other one, and this band was my pick in the grin a few episodes back, is Snowcaps. So while the members of the band are not quote unquote new, this iteration is new, right? So Snowcaps is Katie from Waxahachie and her sister. And they put out this album, which was a surprise. It dropped on Halloween. And one of the songs randomly came up like on my Spotify. And I was like, what in God's name? So I've been obsessed ever since. So those are my top three new ones of the year.
Couple others I thought of. I saw Medium Build open for Joy Coon at the Ryman this year. And he is fantastic. If you haven't seen Medium Build yet, check him out. And then also Joshua Sloan has come into my field division in the last couple of months. He's from Paintsville, Kentucky, the same place where Chris Stapleton's from. Tyler Childers also lived in and around Paintsville for a while. So another interesting singer-songwriter talent coming out of that same neck of the woods. He's got a new album out that's really, really good. The other one that I thought of, I had not heard of Jesse Wells before this year, not the fiddle player for Tyler Childers, the singer-songwriter Jesse Wells, who's kind of the protest guy. I had not heard of him until probably this past summer, and he has just kind of blown up. So, I mean, he might be, across the entire Americana space, he might be the new artist of the year, I would think. Although he's been around a couple of years, just hadn't quite blown up as big as he has this year. And then the last one, back in April, and I'm still sad over Raul Malo's passing. So this has been top of mind for me the last few days. But when I saw Raul Malo and the Mavericks open up for Dwight Yoakam, I had this surprise opener of Jason Scott and the High Heat. They were on the bill that night, but they weren't listed. They were playing as I walked in, and I was like, oh my God, who are these guys? They're great. And Jason Scott and the High Heat are starting to get, I think I mentioned this a couple episodes ago, they're starting to get, I'm hearing their name a lot. And they're starting to populate some of the festival rosters and things like that. I think I likened them the last time I talked about them to a Silverado or a Bottle Rockets. They had that kind of like honky tonky fun, sort of attitude and sound. And so that's a pretty healthy list of new artists for 2025.
I'll say.
If you had to pick one out of all that as like artist of the year, if you were going to pick one, who would it be?
Artist of the year, like in my little world?
Sure. Or whatever, however you want to qualify that.
I got to go with Del Roscoe.
Okay.
I really, really, really like their music. I like their style. I like their vibe. I like their artistry. They're so, like, each one of them is so talented, and not just in a musical sense.
Yep.
And so I envy people like that, but I also respect them and appreciate the art that they produce. So they would have to be my pick.
Sure. So it's really hard for me to pick one, because if I don't pick the Creekers, they're going to be up my butt. If I don't pick Bill Taylor and the Appalachian Heathens, they're going to be up my butt.
Well, and then you're not doing your Appalachian homies any good, right?
That's true. And then I love Taylor Lansdale. He and I have become sort of text buddies. And so, like, there's so many great new artists on here. Like, I am smitten with Emily Jamerson. There's so many different ways to do this, but I think you gotta take in, if you take in the universal success and the reach and all that kind of stuff of everything that's happened this year, it's hard to not think the Creekers are not the new artist of the year in my mind. They when you blow up on TikTok with a soundbite rather organically, that says a lot about people responding to your music. And so I would probably put the Creekers at the top of that list. And I'm sorry, Bill and Taylor and
well, that's not
Emily.
Surprising, and it totally tracks.
It does.
And I'm sure the others that you mentioned that you've just apologized to, they'll cut you some slack. I'm sure they'll understand.
Well, and I didn't even mention Cait Justice, who I've probably listened to as much, if not more, than anybody else on this list this year. In fact, I saw my Spotify Wrapped the other day.
Yeah.
And she was, I think, the 4th most listened to artist of the year for me, which is saying something, because I listened to several people like over and over again. So, I mean, I'm biased as hell because she's a Pikeville girl, but at the same time, she's got good stuff. She actually did a really nice interview on WFPK with Laura Shine here not too long ago.
Nice.
In Louisville, which is really nice. So she's still, climbing the ladder, as it were, in the music world. Good stuff. All right, let's move on to the best songs of 2025. And I think we need to pick out our top 5 here, because, I mean, picking one, well, there's one that's going to be the song of the year across all songs and might be the best song ever written, in my opinion. If it doesn't win the fucking Grammy, I'm going to be pissed. But nonetheless, let's talk about the best songs.
We didn't talk about this ahead of time. So while I don't know for sure which song you're referencing,
you do.
I think I have a pretty good idea.
Yeah, you do. You absolutely
and I'm pretty sure it's on my list too.
In fact, I will tell you this. My buddy Tom Webster, and I've mentioned him on the show before, he is like the foremost expert in the world on podcasting. In fact, he is the partner in Sounds Profitable, which is the sort of podcasting industry trade body, right?
Okay.
He's a big deal in the podcast world, and he happens to be a friend of mine from our old speaking circuit social marketing days. Tom and I trade, messages about music from time to time. He's an old radio DJ as well, so we have a lot in common. And he asked me at some point this summer, it was actually not too long after this song came out. He said, "So what are your top 10 songs of all time?" And I gave him the list, and this song was, I said, "This is my number 1 song of all time in the history of music by far." Like, wow. There's a big gap between it and the next thing that I like. So that's how.
Should we just go ahead and name the song, or are we going to make everybody wait?
Well,
are we gonna save it for last?
We go ahead and do it. It's obvious. I mean, if you don't know,
should we say it
you don't
together?
Listen to this show.
Right.
on the count of 3.
Count
you ready?
3.
1, 2, 3. Biting
list.
Yeah, exactly.
I knew it.
Yeah. It's so good. It is so good. Complete.
It's so clever.
Yeah.
It's so clever, and it's just hilarious. And like, who would ever have a thought like that? Like, if I were to ever get rabies, I'm coming for you,
exactly.
Motherfucker. Just like TTC. Oh my goodness. Oh, and for those who may not know, and if you're listening to the show and you don't know that song, well then welcome. But
welcome back from your coma.
Right. Biting List by the one and only Tyler Childers.
Oh yeah.
Only he could write a song like that.
And it is, and I feel rather justified because it is nominated for Country Song of the Year for the Grammys, which, you know, if you think it's a novelty, goofy song, it's fucking nominated for a Grammy.
Yeah.
And the other songs nominated for Grammys, a couple of them are like, I haven't even fucking heard that song. So, you know.
Well, you know, I'm sure there's a whole like group of people too who are saying, what's this Biting List shit?
Yeah,
you know, like
true.
who's this Tyler Childers? And I don't know why I just gave them that like Southern accent.
That's
thing.
okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
It's just a default, I guess.
It's
But
fine.
anyway.
Well, Biting List is so big that my mother even said, have you heard this Tyler Childers song, Biting List? It's hysterical. I'm like, yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. My mom even said that. And all
Nice.
she does is watch political shit on TV. So.
Oh, no. Oh, God, no. Okay.
All right. So
what else we got?
Well, okay. I'll go ahead and do my top 5. And I have not counted out 5 songs here. So I have a list in front of me of the songs released this year. And I'm very quickly going to browse here and say, okay, Biting List is number 1. The other 4 that I would put on my top 5 list, I'm going to go with Gild the Lily by Billy Strings.
Okay. Is that 2025?
It is. The album came out, I think, at the end of 2024, but Gild the Lily made the top 40 charts in 2025.
Okay.
So it got its publicity there.
Because I know we talked about that album last year.
Right. So
okay.
I'm going to go with Gild the Lily. I'm also going to, I think Oneida by Tyler Childers is in my top 5 as well. I've been singing that song over and over in my head for months now. I think you got to put Tennessee by the Creekers on there. I mean, it blew up and made the Creekers kind of what they are in terms of exposure. So I would put that on there. That's 3. Is that 3 or 4? No, that's 4.
Biting List.
Gild the Lily, Biting List, Oneida, and Tennessee.
And Tennessee. Okay.
And so if I'm going to do a number 5, golly, that's tough because there's like a 18-way tie for 5th. And I'm looking at a bunch of releases from this year that are really, really good. I'm going to go with Ancient Light. I'm with her. I love Sarah Jaraz. And
I know.
The 3 of them together, Sarah Watson and Aoife Donovan. It's a good song. I think that song was also nominated for either Song of the Year or Americana Song of the Year or whatever.
Okay.
It was nominated in some category. And I mean, Sarah Jaraz does something and she gets a Grammy for it. So, yeah, that's how that works. So that's what I would say. Those are my 5.
Okay.
What are your 5 songs of the year?
Do I include Biting List?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So that's one of the 5. And while we're talking about that song and Tyler, just want to point out that Oneida isn't really like a new song. I've seen Tyler perform it a couple of times, like in the, years past. But it's the first time he recorded it like on an album.
Right.
So, just for those of you out there who are keeping track and are sticklers about that sort of thing. All right. But anyway, Oneida, yes, I do love it, but it's not going to be one of my top 5. So in addition to Biting List, I'm going to have to go with Heathcliff by Snowcaps.
Nice.
That was the song that lured me in, and it's constantly in my head. Again, Del Roscoe, their song Westward.
Okay.
That makes me want to get in my car, roll down the windows, and just drive until I can't go no more. Really good sound. And then, so what is that? Biting List, Heathcliff, Westward. So that's 3. I got to go with Snapping Turtle by S.G. Goodman.
Ooh, great
Makes me cry a little
Yep.
bit. And then, oh gosh, I got like a three-way tie going here for number 5. Okay, I'm gonna go with, and this is someone we've talked about on the show before. A new single by Joby Riccio. It's called Wildfire Season.
Okay.
And
Nice.
I saw her perform it at Evanston Folk Fest back in September, and she had just, I don't know if she had recorded it already or whatever. She said it was a new song. It's now released. You can get it on streaming services, but it's kind of her thoughts on the climate crisis that we're facing as a planet. And it's very, very well done, very well written, and it really makes you wonder about how much longer we got.
Yeah.
With Earth as our home. So, don't mean to bring the party down or anything, but it's just one of those things that you just can't ignore it.
Yeah.
So I'll go with Wildfire Season by Jovi Riccio.
I like it. Good stuff. The songs, the songs that have the most impact and meaning are the ones who make us come to the realization about some issue or topic that we need to be thinking about, but probably aren't. And so good for her. And I'm happy to have that on your list. That's good. And I'm almost kind of kicking myself for not putting Snapping Turtle on mine. So
that's right. I got you.
If SG's watching, I'm sorry.
She understands. She ain't gonna be mad at you for including the Creakers and Tyler. Come on.
Well, if you want to be a stickler about Oneida not being a new song, I'll put Snapping Turtle on the list and move Oneida down. But I will say that I was very cognizant of the fact that Oneida had not been on an album before, because if by the logic that you think I was like, oh, he didn't know it's a new song. By that logic, I would have put Nose on the Grindstone on the list.
Oh, yeah. No,
but Nose on the Grindstone has been recorded before, so we're all good. We're all good.
No, I know It's just I was just waiting, like, once this episode airs for the comments. Like,
I was talking to the needle dicks out there who are going to bitch about it.
Like, actually.
Exactly. Well, if you actually study and read your shit, well, I don't. So fuck off.
There we go.
All right, so we got two more categories we're going to go through here on the big show: albums and concerts or events, and we'll go over those when we come back. Stay tuned. This is Roots Music Rambler. Welcome back to Roots Music Rambler. We are in our year-end show. We're kissing 2025 goodbye and moving into 2026. But we're in the middle of, Frank and I are going over our kind of best of 2025. We've talked about our favorite songs and our favorite sort of new artists. And we've got a couple more categories before we get to our big fun interview toward the end of the show with the folks from Ashton and Alan from the Creakers. So stay tuned for that. All right. So we're at the category of albums of the year. We're going to do 5 of these as well, but I want to kind of give everybody a little bit of the lay of the land on what we're talking about here, because if you go back and look at the albums that dropped in the calendar year 2025, I believe I've double checked and all these dropped in this calendar year. Listen to the competition here. Lonesome Drifter and Dollar a Day from Charlie Crockett. 2 albums this year for him. Memories and Empties, Coulter Wall. It's relatively new, but it's very good. Foxes in the Snow, Jason Isbell. Snipe Hunter, Tyler Childers. Hard-Headed Woman, Marco Price. The Price of Admission, Turnpike Troubadours. Darling Blue, the Marcus King Band. Songbird, Waylon Jennings. Planning by the Signs, S.G. Goodman. Wild and Clear and Blue, I'm With Her. Bloom, Larkin Poe. Exploding Trees and Airplane Screams, Patterson Hood. Is by My Morning Jacket. Arcadian by Alison Krauss and Union Station. Forever's a Feeling, Lucy Dacus. Rushmore, Mumford & Sons. Oh, What a Beautiful World, Willie Nelson. Working Man, Willie Sings Merle by Willie Nelson. He's got 2 this year. Still Shakin', North Mississippi All-Stars. Ain't Rocked in a While, Brent Cobb and the Fixins. Crown of Roses, Patty Griffin. So Long Miss Sunshine, Molly Tuttle. Billionaire, Kathleen Edwards. Big Money, John Batiste. It's relatively
Love him.
new. I mean, it just goes on and on. I didn't even get to Mavis Staples or Brandy Carlisle or Jeff Tweedy or Jesse Wells or Lucas Nelson or Cole Chaney or Hayes Carl or holy shit. Good
Amanda
music.
Shires.
Yeah, Amanda Shires is in there. Silverada's got an acoustic album this year. Like, I'm worn out just reading the list, and I didn't even do half of it.
I know. I'm looking at the list, and there's a lot more that we could touch on.
We've got a lot to choose from. And so I believe I went first with the songs. So I'm going to make you go first, Frank, with the albums. So give me your 5 albums of 2025.
All right. So the first few will not come as a surprise. Okay, because I've already talked about these artists and bands. So definitely Planting by the Signs, S.G. Goodman. I mean, she can't do anything, like she can do no wrong.
Right.
All right. Let's just put it that way. Snowcaps by Snowcaps. And then the debut from Del Roscoe, self-titled. All right. So the other two that I would like to highlight, one is from a friend of the show, Leon Meitzen.
Yes.
So his latest is called Making a Living, Not a Killin'. And he talk about blowing up. That boy is all over the place. And I couldn't be happier for him. I mean, he is just such a nice dude, right? Every time I see him, he's awesome. And so I'm really, really happy for him. And I will support him any way that I can. And then the other one is from William Prince. That one is Further from the Country. And I've talked about William Prince a few times on the show. I mean, I would love to have him on the show. I think he would have a very different perspective from other guests that we've had, being one Canadian, being First Nations. So, but yeah, Further from the Country. And he's another one that I caught at Evanston Folk Fest.
Nice.
And, I talked about it. I cried through his whole set. So, yeah. So those are my 5.
Okay. That's a good 5. All right. So, Planting by the Signs, absolutely on my list. In fact, I think that might have been the biggest Grammy snub this year is S.G. Goodman's Planting by the Signs. It should have been nominated for something, and it wasn't, which was not cool. But, yeah, Grammys are Grammys. Sometimes that happens. That's definitely on my list, so we share that one. Snipe Hunter, Tyler Childers, hands down, without a doubt, has to be in my top 5. Might be my number 1, but those two are kind of a given. And it's really cool that we saw them both play at the same time. Like, that was pretty neat. All right. So SG, Tyler, for sure. I'm going to go, the other 3 are kind of a toss up because again, I've got 6 or 7 here that I could throw in there and be perfectly content with. But I am going to throw one at people that you probably haven't heard of and don't know about because they put it out on Spotify. And they actually didn't call the album finished. They just kept adding singles to it. And then they said on their website and whatnot, when we get finished with it, we'll press it and make it an album and you can order it, which I did, of course. And that's Texas 42 by Silverado.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Basically, they've gone back in their catalog and recorded a bunch of their stuff acoustically. And it's a different vibe than their normal live show or their recorded albums. I think it definitely deserves to be on a top 5 list. So if it's not on anybody else's, I'm putting it on mine because I think it's fantastic. I love Silverado anyway. All right. So I got 2 more spots here. And this is tough, man. There's so many good, like I want to put Cole Chaney's In the Shadow of the Mountain on there. I want to put one of the Jesse Wells albums on there. I want to put a Willie Nelson album on there. I want to put the Vandaliers on here. Jesus, there's so many good albums this year, but I got 2 more to go. So the first one that I'm going to put on there is We're Only Human by Hayes Carll. And the reason that I think it stands out is because it's a very different album for him. It's much more introspective. It's much more serious because Hayes does a lot of songs that have little clever hooks or themes or sometimes funny, like She Left Me for Jesus is absolutely hysterical. But this one was much more of him looking at the world and being a lot more introspective about where we are and the political and social angst that we have to deal with every day and whatnot. And so it was a deeper, more thoughtful, more meaningful, I think, album from him. And so I think that deserves to be on the list as well. So We're Only Human by Hayes Carll has got to be on there for me. And then this last spot, man, again, I could flip a coin a million times and I could put Price of Admission by Turnpike Troubadours on there and be very happy. I could put Foxes in the Snow by Jason Isbell on there and be very happy. I'm always happy if you put a Charlie Crockett album up there. That's fine. But I'm going to step outside of my comfort zone a little bit on this because I think it deserves credit, because I'm looking at the statistics alone on this album. I think there's been 5 singles that have made the Americana charts off of this album. And this artist has become a household name for a lot of people this year because of So Long Miss Sunshine by Molly Tuttle. And
Okay.
I like it a lot. I bought the vinyl. I haven't done a deep dive and listened to it over and over again yet, but there's not a song on that album that I went, they're all good. And Molly Tuttle has started to fine tune her sound and really become consistent. And she just recently got engaged to Catch Secor, by the way.
I saw that.
I didn't even know they were dating. Not that I would have any reason to know that, but that was pretty cool. But yeah, I think So Long Miss Sunshine is, in the Americana Music Association vernacular, I think is definitely a candidate for Album of the Year. I think if you're looking at it through that AMA perspective, Snipe Hunter might be on there, might not, because they may consider Tyler mainstream country, even though he's not really. But Snipe Hunter would be on there. So Long Miss Sunshine would probably be on there. I think they would probably put Hayes Carll's album on there. And there was one other that I was thinking would be like a no-brainer for the AMA to put on there, and I don't know where. Oh, Foxes in the Snow, Jason Isbell. He's kind of a shoe-in for that award every year almost. But yeah, those are my 5. I think that's a solid 5 for me. So.
Yeah.
But again,
nice.
Take the 4 and 5 spots, flip a coin, put any of these other ones on. I mean, we got a new Waylon Jennings album this year.
I know.
And it's really good. So it's
I know.
just crazy. We have it's been a really good year for music. So,
well, and then it's been a really good year too for like our guests, our past guests, right? Like Magnolia Boulevard, they've got a full length album out.
Yep.
They've got vinyl, right?
I do.
Yes.
I have it.
Right. Okay. Well, I said it and then I second guessed myself. So yes.
I got it.
Yeah. And, so that makes me really happy. Los Gallos are in the studio now. So hopefully there's going to be a new album from them. So all those guests too, that we should probably mention that they are what helps keep our show going.
That's true.
And so hopefully, or maybe next year, some of them, their new releases will be on our year-end lists.
That's true. One that I thought of as we were talking there, Nicholas Jamerson's The Narrow Way album is so really good. And it's not going to get as much national attention just because he's a small indie artist, even though people know who he is because he's one of the 2 guys in Sunday Best. But The Narrow Way is a really good album. And by the way, if you haven't heard the duet with him and his sister called Sunday Dinners, oh my God, it's so good. And it's one of those that'll probably choke you up. It'll make you cry. It'll make you laugh.
All right, I'm writing that down.
Especially if you have that sort of, and it doesn't have to be Appalachian, but if you have a family that operates like a lot of Appalachian families do, where, hey, we always eat Sunday dinners together, whether we hate each other or not, that song is going to bring out some feels. So Sunday Dinner, the Jamersons, it's good shit. Good shit.
Hi, Italian here. We can't do anything else on Sundays.
Exactly. So I think you'll enjoy that a lot. It's a dandy. I've played it a couple times now on the radio show. And as I talk about the best songs of the year from Appalachia, it's definitely going to be on my list. So there you go.
All right.
We got one more category. Our favorite events and concerts. Of course, we talk about our events and concerts that we go to a lot in the intro of this show, episode in, episode out, because we just love going to live shows. We love live music, and we want to translate our experiences to you so that you can, make a good call as to who you want to go see. And we try to recommend other artists that way. As everybody who listens to this show knows, Francesca has seen 17,000 acts this week at Fitzgerald's. And I have seen about half of that many over the course of the year because I go to way too many concerts. But we make it a point of doing that because we love coming back and reporting. All right. So you went first with the last category. So I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you my 5 favorite events from this year.
Okay.
Keep in mind, I keep track because I'm an old stats nerd, right? I have seen almost 170 acts this year. Now, that's not different acts. Like if I've seen the Creekers 3 times, that's 3 of the 170. But I've seen 170 acts get up on stage and perform in different sets. So I see a lot.
Okay.
That's probably an insane amount for most people. I would have to say that my number one event this year, and we talk about this guy and we talk about the bands from it. It's been a linchpin event in the year for this show, and that's the Manchester Music Fest in Manchester, Kentucky. Tim Parks and Jess Bowman were a guest on. We were talking about events with them back in the summer. The event was held Labor Day weekend in Manchester, Kentucky, which is in Clay County. It's kind of nestled in the mountains of eastern Kentucky. It's this wonderful, beautiful little burg nestled in the mountains there. Brent Cobb, Taylor Honeycutt, the Creekers, Bill Taylor and the Appalachian Heathens, Emily Jamerson, Roy Caudle. I'm going to forget a bunch of people who were there. Spooky Fox was there. There was a bunch of great artists there. But the thing that made it so good for me was, and I think I talked about this on the show, because it's in a small town and because Tim Parks and Jess Bowman and all the people who put it together with the community a certain way, you're literally like walking down the street in Manchester, Kentucky, and Brent Cobb is walking by you with his guitar in his hand going, "Hey, what's up?" And you're just like, what the hell is going on here? And the way they do it and the community support around it just makes it a really unique thing. And it hasn't gotten to the point yet to where it's too big, because events eventually sometimes get too big and they're too crowded and you're shoulder to shoulder and you
Yes.
can't get around. It's not that way in Manchester for the Manchester Music Fest yet. I hope it never gets too big for them. If it does, they'll probably just have to move it out of downtown. But I had such a good time that weekend and it was such a great event. So that's my number one. My number two is Unbroken Circle. Up in Madison, Indiana. Unbroken Circle is a reiteration of what used to be Rooster Tail.
Right.
We talked about this on the show. The city of Madison decided to take Rooster Tail over from the event management company that was doing it. The event management company then said, well, give us another weekend in the fall because we want to keep doing a festival there. So they just added Unbroken Circle Festival. And Drew Eads, I believe, is the gentleman behind it. And it's a banger. It's a great show. I think 2.5 days. They do a couple of things on Thursday and then Friday and Saturday. And it's just a fantastic show. Marcus King, Turnpike Troubadours, Silverado, just Vincent Neil Emerson was there this year. Drayton Farley. It was such a great show. The number of great acts that are there is mind-boggling, and they're all great. And it was Paul Cawthon. I mean, I could go on and on and on. Sonny Sweeney was there. It was such a great show, and they do such a great job. And Madison's just a beautiful little town, well worth going to. All right, so that's number two.
Okay.
Number three, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier, April 25th, 2025 is a concert that I will never forget because it was the one and only time I got to see Raul Malo and the Mavericks. They opened up for Dwight Yoakam at Iroquois Amphitheater. Jason Scott and the High Heat was also the surprise opener that night. So I got to see 3 really good bands, 2 for the first time, 1, unfortunately, for the last time. And I just had a blast. It was Karen's birthday as well. So we had, I think, second row seats to see Dwight, who's arguably my favorite artist of all time. That's his record over my shoulder, if you're wondering what that is. And that had to have been, I mean, that might go down in my top 5, shows I've ever been to, concerts, at least not festival, but individual shows I've ever been to. And I feel very, very fortunate to have seen Raul Malo before he passed. And it was a great show. So that's on there too. I have to put my Tyler Childers Dinosaur World pop-up on that list just because it's so bizarre that I even got to go. And he just released, as we're recording this just this week, he just released a live version of Biting List recorded at Dinosaur World. So you can't hear me yelling in the background, but I was yelling in the background.
I'm sure. I mean, there's no doubt.
So that would be my number 4. And I think my number 5, it's, I went to Bourbon and Beyond, and it was just, 3.5, 4 days of nuts. But I got to throw another one in there that people might not expect. I got to see Bonnie Raitt live this year, also at Iroquois Amphitheater. And it was a magical night. She's wonderful live, and I had a great time at the show, and being able to see a legend like her was awfully good. So that's my 5.
Nice.
Manchester Music Fest, Unbroken Circle, Tyler Childers, Dinosaur World Pop-Up, Bonnie Raitt, and Dwight Yoakam, the Mavericks, and Jason Scott, the High Heat. Pretty good shows right there. All right, Frank, it's your turn.
Okay, so let's see. Well, you already kind of made a dig at me for all the time I spend at Fitzgerald's. So I have to mention American Music Festival that takes place at Fitzgerald's every year.
It's a good one.
I mean, it's just like my friend Lindsay used to call it the most wonderful time of the year, and she wasn't wrong. So just 4 days, like you said about Bourbon and Beyond, of good music, and it kind of has that same feel you described at Manchester Music Festival, where the artists are kind of mingling, and you can look over, you're watching one band, and the band that's playing later, they've already played, they're there watching their counterparts on stage, and it's just a really great vibe. And I've met so many people and made really good friends just by attending that festival, so it's totally worth it for me. Along those same lines would be the Evanston Folk Festival.
Yep.
So 2 years running now. And just today that we're recording this, it was announced that there's a early bird sale for the 2-day passes for next year, for 2026.
Nice.
And there no lineups, no performers have been announced, but I don't care. I'm still going to buy the ticket, the 2-day pass, because whoever ends up playing is going to be fantastic.
Sure.
And probably a bunch that I would go see anyway.
Yep.
So those 3, no, that was only 2, right?
Yeah, that was 2.
American Music Fest and Evanston Folk Fest. Okay. And then kind of sticking with the small festival, especially the vibe that you described at Manchester, would be Crossroads Acoustic Festival in Seymour, Indiana. So we went to that in April of this year, and it was just, a little town, John Mellencamp's hometown.
Yep.
And just great acts playing, all acoustic. We saw Leon Meitzen. We saw Magnolia Boulevard, Ben Chapman, Meg McCree, so a lot of people that we've talked to that we know that we're huge fans of. And I've been checking their website and socials, and I think the lineup is going to be announced early in January. So
nice.
Another one. I'm sure that the lineup will be stellar once again.
Yes.
And then I have to mention the 3-night run with Drive By Truckers over the summer. Boy, I think I'm still exhausted from that. But I mean, yes, it was great. Drive By Truckers, obviously one of our favorites. But the fact that I got to go 2 nights with my son, and he, played guitar with Deer Tick.
Yeah.
And then he was walking out. He's like, "Hey, that's Mike Cooley," and it stopped. And then Mike Cooley stopped and talked to him and took pictures. And,
sweet.
It was just, I mean, of course, the music was outstanding. The company was great. But that whole experience, like those core memories that my son and I got to make together, and Tom, just can't be beat.
Yeah.
So I also have to mention then the shows that I went to with Lucia. So she got to see Sunvolt for the first time with me.
Nice.
So, that's my favorite band in the whole world. So that was special that she got to experience it with me. And then I got to see her favorite band. Well, this is kind of on the down low, because we talked too about how Wilbur from Lovejoy was canceled
Right.
because of some allegations. So she's really like, she doesn't want a whole lot of people to know that she still listens to Lovejoy and that she went to see them live. But oh well, too bad. I just let the world know. But we got to see them together again. That was my third time seeing Lovejoy.
Yeah.
But they're great. I enjoy their shows. I enjoy their music. So those were probably the highlights for me for 2025.
Reassure Lucia and let her know that our generation has Ryan Adams. So it happens and it'll be fine.
Right, exactly. And that's exactly what I explained to her when the news of these allegations against Wilbur first were made public. I likened it exactly to the Ryan Adams situation.
Yep. Yeah. Sometimes your artists are not perfect people and you have to kind of tolerate them, or you get to a point where you wash your hands of them one
Right.
thing or another. Doesn't mean you can't still listen to and like the music, though, of course.
Can I do like an honorable mention?
Absolutely.
Okay. Simply because, as great musically as 2025 was, personally, I dealt with loss. My friend Lindsay passed away. So I have to say that one of the highlights amidst the grief and the sadness was the memorial that I was able to put together with the help. Basically Riley Downs put it all together.
Yeah.
Riley Downs of the Acid Cowboys. She is the wife of Cody from Sparkle Carcass, who we also had on the show. But they played at the memorial along with our good friend Nathan Graham, Rachel Swain, and Rochelle Gordon. So, like I said, even though it was the reason for that evening was not a happy one, it turned out to be so great. And I really felt the love and the care and the support from the artists that gave their time and their talent, and also from all the people who attended. So it really, really, really meant a lot to me.
Well, absolutely. You're more than welcome to share that with us anytime, because I know how much that meant to you. And I know that a lot of people were very saddened by that. And I'm glad that you were able to help organize that and put it together. So good stuff. And that'll be a sad memory for 2025, but one that will make 2025 something we think about often. So there you go. So those are our best of for the year 2025. It's certainly been a fun year, and we can't wait to see what 2026 has to offer.
So before we get into the interview, though, with the Creekers, we should probably let folks go get a drink, maybe get a towel. I don't know. Get ready.
That's a good idea. Yep, that's right. Our year-end bonus for you is coming up after the break. Ashton Bowling and Alan Hacker from the Creekers sat down with me backstage at one of their recent sold-out holiday shows. We're going to hear that interview next, folks. Don't go away. This is Roots Music Rambler. Welcome back to Roots Music Rambler. Kind of a rare opportunity for us here, because I just happened to be at Zanzibar for the Creekers tonight, and Alan Hacker walked by me outside and said, "Is it just you?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Come on." So I'm in the green room with Ashton and Alan Hacker from the Creekers. What's up, guys? How y'all doing? So I guess the first thing I wanted to ask you guys, obviously everything's blown up the last couple months. Has everything calmed down yet, or y'all still... No.
To a sense, I think we're rather than calming down, we're just kind of getting used to it, more or less. So we're just kind of taking the shots as they come now. So
that's good.
It's not all new. We're kind of comfortable with it. So
it's definitely not as much as a headache as when we were getting
fresh
phone calls and emails and
yeah. Now, you guys did this sort of winter holiday thing, and I think it was 6 or 7 dates or something. All of them sold out. Yeah. Like almost in a couple of hours at every place. What's that? What's that like to know? You're not only do you get the record contract, not only do you get the followers and all that stuff, but now it's where the rubber meets the road. Tickets go on sale, boom, they're gone. That's pretty cool.
That means a lot to us, for sure.
I mean, it just shows us how much support we have behind us, which is very just pleasing to me. I mean, just, you know, you can get all this stuff in your life, but people may not like to listen to you, and doing this and it's selling out in minutes and hours and whatnot just shows that the people really enjoy us and we enjoy doing this. So I wouldn't rather have any other job.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I would like to have your job, but I can't play spoons, so I'm screwed there.
Me neither, but I ain't never tried.
Well, you can sing and play guitar and write songs, and I can't do any of that shit. Pressure. You guys got a record coming. I know you're going to be working on this record over the next few months with Warner and all that kind of stuff, but are you feeling any pressure to perform now, or is it just, hey man, I'm just doing what I'm doing?
I mean, for me, really personally, like, I felt like a lot of pressure was lifted after we finally signed and figured out what we wanted to do. We got a good team behind us, and I couldn't ask for nothing else.
That's cool. What about you, Ashton?
I mean, now I think for me it's just go on and do what we do, and just give them what they want. I mean, like he said, you know, pressure has been lifted since we made the choices and whatnot, and like he said, we have a great team, and I trust them with all my heart. So
that's cool. All right, what else you want to say to the peoples out there in the listener land?
I would say come to the shows and the holidays tour, but they're all sold out. So maybe the next tour.
You snooze, you lose. When the next tickets go on sale for the spring, buy the damn tickets. That's what we're saying, because they're going to go out, sell out pretty quick.
Yep.
So, what? Any insights into new songs coming? Anything on the percolating on the horizon there for us?
They're there.
They're
They're there.
They're there. They just ain't here yet.
I'm there. They're not here.
I'm sure the Warner people don't want me asking that damn question. But guys, thanks for inviting me backstage, and thanks for taking some time with us.
No problem.
Appreciate having you on.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to break with a Creeker song. God damn it! This is Roots Music Rambler.
All right. Well, that was fun. It's neat that you got to go back in the green, back with them, right? Before the show. You know, I think we're more used to hanging out afterwards, but that must have been pretty cool. Like you felt kind of special getting picked out.
I did feel kind of special. I mean, I always feel special, but I felt more than short bus special on that particular evening. And I got to give a lot of credit. I've mentioned Tim Parks a couple times on the episode today. He's the manager of the Creekers. He's also the organizer of the Manchester Music Fest, a great friend of the show, and in more ways than most people typically are. He's referred a lot of people to us. He's introduced me to a lot of people. Obviously, he and Jess Bowman made me feel incredibly welcome and you know, gave me access to a lot of things that other people didn't have access to at the Manchester Music Fest. But he was instrumental in helping us get Tanner Horton on the show for Thanksgiving weekend, and certainly was right there to say, hey, here's Alan. He never does interviews. Get your damn phone out and interview him. So I did. So I got to give Tim a lot of credit. He's been a great friend and a great asset to us here on Roots Music Rambler. And then I also want to give a shout out to Alan Hacker's father-in-law. I've mentioned Shane Howard a couple times before. He's shining Shane on the TikToks. And Shane is the guy who literally just started pestering the hell out of me about the Creekers. You got to listen to these guys. You got to have them on the show. And he was doing that long before anybody really knew who they were, at least on the scale that they do now. And Shane's been a good friend. It's been great to hang out with him at some of these shows. He was there as I was doing that interview in the green room as well. So I owe him a lot for staying on me about the Creekers, because I'm certainly thankful that he did, because now, you know, they've been on the show twice. Three of them have been on the show. We're going to get Anna Blanton on here, and probably Scott, the banjo player, separately, just talk about themselves and their music at some point. So I guess Jagger would be the only one who I got to get him on here too. Jagger likes to sit in the background. He plays bass and does does vocals and just chills. He's kind of chill guy in the background, but
the cool cat.
Yeah, he's the cool cat. But we'll get him on here at some point. So good stuff. It was a fun night, and I'm glad we got to share that interview with you.
Very nice. So I guess I need to start stalking the artists at Fitzgerald's so I can get interviews maybe in the green room.
Hell yeah, go crazy. Just take your phone and hit record and just go nuts. We'll make it work if you get somebody good and they want to talk. Absolutely. Do it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm there enough. So, Oh my goodness. Well, we know this episode's dropping on December 26th. So most of you are probably still enjoying family time and the holidays. So from Jason and me, from all of us to all of you, we want to say happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Merry Festivus, Happy Kwanzaa, all the things.
Absolutely. We're a little over 2 years now into this thing, and we're tickled you're along on the ride with us. We'll save our picking the grinning picks for next time when we'll kick off 2026. Until then, be good or be good at it, y'all. Roots Music Rambler is a production of Falls and Partners, copyright 2025. Our theme music is Sheepskin and Beeswax by Gentacorum. Join us online at rootsmusicrambler.com and make sure you mash that subscribe or follow button so you remember to join us for the next Hoe Down and Throwdown. She's Frank.
And he's Falls.
And whatever you do, kids, ramble on.